fast forward in komo channel social so am say hasi GH Politics Insider political stories training begins making headlines when we hani jemra ne di bi epsum e wa ha ene di ma ate ene ye di kan ya be share so bit ma subscribe to the channel hit on notification bell share na for no so ensa into enkabi na ene di yemo nwura insimu sisie na owura Adu-Boahen me no ka say court etimi atna na sem no so ene na asem no die no ekoso ano na me no ka say eye Attorney General esande kwadu foforo esande bo papai say the casa odili bia no stolen cars ampaniampa witness no so ho no so edi hu adanse say wono way kadela na papa ne ka bia obebia no ya no question mark wo ho we say na court hwe ho itu asem no sheda me no ka say yensemre emunwura mu nti ensem no mu yi pa dasene ebesen ehie awo hase emunwura ensem.
Behind me, you can get an indication as to where it is that we're headed. We're taking you to the courts because the High Court has ordered the Ghana Police Service to deliver directly to Kwabena Adu-Boahen and other defendants all the information in their possession in respect of a BMW 740D with chassis number, I'll skip that, and the prosecution brought up questions of the said vehicle to prove to the court that the former Signals Bureau chief had failed to declare his assets while in public office and that he was also involved in the importation and sale of stolen vehicles. Lawyer for Mr. Adu-Boahen and the two others, Samuel Atachia, was on bended knees before the court for the court to compel the Attorney General to release the bail of lading and other documentation covering the stolen vehicle allegedly imported into the country for sale by the former Signals Bureau boss. The lawyer said that information was crucial to the defense of the accused persons but had been withheld by the prosecution. The Deputy AG Justice Shremsai, however, pointed to the court that the information sought by the defense counsel was already before the court and could not be requested for. Let's take you to court right now, speak to Sixtus Strong Ulo, and get a bit more in terms of the details. And Sixtus is joining us right now. Sixtus, walk us through what these allegations, if we can call them that, are the AG has been put into the former Signals Bureau boss.
Yes, Mawina, it was another day in court to hear a lot more about what is happening in this particular case. There is a witness who is about to testify for the prosecution, and this witness is an investigator. He is called Frank Marshall Cromwell, who is expected to testify that Adu-Boahen was involved in the importation and sale of stolen vehicles. And they have some of these documentation on some of the vehicles that are expected to come up in this particular testimony. What we know for now is that the former Signals Bureau chief would import these vehicles which are reported stolen and then sell it within the country. But we still don't have the full detail as to the number of the vehicles involved and the particular vehicles involved. The one in question, which came up in court today, is a BMW 740, which the prosecution says the testimony would be about. But the lawyer for Adu-Boahen and the two other defendants, the Samuel Atachia, said it was necessary for them to get the information that the prosecution is relying upon to make these issues or raise these issues in court so that they could prepare an adequate defense for the accused persons. But what we heard in court also from the Attorney General is that the information about the details of the vehicle, the particular BMW that we are talking about, contained in the form that is called the Customs Declaration Form, which is already attached to the statement of this investigator, Cromwell, who is expected to come and testify. And this Customs Declaration Form talks about or contains information about the make of the vehicle, the importer, the chassis number, and all the information that the lawyer Samuel Atachian was asking for. Now, Atachian was asking also for the bill of lading, which the AG argued, the deputy AG argued, that being the importer, that document was already in the possession or the domain, or it should be reasonably understood that that document is within the possession of the former Signals Bureau chief. And so it was not within the place of the Attorney General's office to provide that documentation or that bill of lading to the defense lawyers. The other documentation, which, however, came up, containing information about the clearance of the vehicle and other pieces of information relevant to the case, according to lawyer Atachian, is information that the court said that it could order for a release of the said information to the lawyers. But lawyer Atachian had earlier raised misgivings about the attitude of the Attorney General's department withholding information, as he puts it, information that is relevant to the case. And so the court said once he had already expressed misgivings or mistrust about the Attorney General's department, then that order could not be reasonably made to the Attorney General's department. And so the court made the order to the police service to provide the relevant information just so that the accused persons can sufficiently prepare for their defense and their day in court.
Just quickly on where we go from here, and so we're expecting this investigator to get into the witness box and then provide these testimonies, and then we go where from here?
Yes, that is so. The investigator is yet to be put in the box, but we also know that the court was supposed to continue hearing today. That could not happen because this particular motion hearing dragged on and took a lot of time. And so the court has been adjourned to the 31st of this month, which is on Thursday, so that when they come back, we understand that there are other motions that are yet to be moved. Other things, requests that the lawyer Atachian is making of the court. And so on Thursday, when the court comes back, they will hear those other motions, and hopefully, if there is still time, we will get to hear substantively on the matter.
Sixtus, thank you very much for those details. That's my colleague Sixtus Ťrǒublě in the court for us. We're returning to the Unibank matter and Dr. Kwabena for that Nolly Prosecutor filed by the Attorney General. Let's just engage Musa Ahmed again, just briefly. He was seeking to make that all-important point before we lost him via the internet connection. Mr. Ahmed, please make that point and what justification you say you side with the AG on.
Before my phone dropped, I must apologize. I think there was a call.
Right.
But before it dropped, I was making a submission by reference to the book of Matthew 5:25 to 26. If you read that verse, it endorses what the Attorney General has done. You see, we have to move away from the medieval thinking that whoever commits an offense deserves to go to jail. That is not the essence of modern laws. We have looked at the laws. We have passed, Parliament in its wisdom has passed a law which empowers the state and an accused person to settle matters by way of a plea bargain. And I believe that what the Attorney General has done is not out of place. It is supported by the law. It is supported by the books. It is supported by Ghanaians, well-meaning Ghanaians. It is supported even by the Constitution of Ghana.
But Mr.
So what
Ahmed,
are you talking about?
You mentioned the plea bargain act. This agreement was not reached via that medium. It was outside of the remit of the plea bargaining act.
Yes.
There
yes,
lies a concern that could be genuine.
No, you see, the Attorney General has properly, in my opinion, explained the reasoning. Indeed, in exercising the power of noli prosequi, the Attorney General is not required to give any reasons.
Absolutely.
He's not required to give any reasons. Yes, but this is an Attorney General who sees that, look, constitutionally, I have a mandate under Article 88 of the Constitution. I have been appointed by an elected president of the Republic of Ghana. I have been subjected to Parliament, and I have become the Attorney General of the Republic. I have a responsibility to be transparent to the people of Ghana, and that is what he has done. Otherwise, he has no obligation under the law to give reasons. And if he has given reasons, why are we not trusting institutions of state?
Right.
Why are we thinking that someone sitting in an office of public nature will lie to Ghanaians? Why do we do that to ourselves? Why can't we trust for once institutions that we have put in place to manage the affairs of this state to the betterment of the ordinary Ghanaian? And if you listen to all the arguments they are making, these are political arguments, not legal arguments. They are political in nature because you are talking about what the minority is saying in Parliament. Indeed, the minority in Parliament will never be happy with the ruling government, and they will do anything under the sun to attack it.
Right, I hear you, but Mr. Ahmed, I've stayed more on the argument as has been made by civil society groups. Just by way of conclusion, you're of the firm belief that this 2 billion cedis we're getting is the best that we possibly could have gotten from all of the liabilities and all of the cost the state had to bear as a result of the collapse of this bank.
You see, I agree with that. I support the view that getting part of the money back is sensible. In economic terms, it is wise. In political terms, it is good. In constitutional terms, it's in tune with the law. You see, what is the point? What is the advantage that Ghanaians gain when you put a person in prison and you buy maize, you buy food to feed the person in prison? What do you get out of that? The person goes to prison, he doesn't pay you any money. You go and spend the taxpayers' money on him again, and then you incur more costs at the expense of the people of Ghana. So in my opinion, in the public interest, a prosecutor may decide to pursue what is good to serve the ends of justice. And that is what the Attorney General has done.
Mr. Ahmed Musa, we'll leave the conversation here. I appreciate you joining us and sharing your thoughts. And even more grateful that even after the line dropped initially, you returned and you shared your thoughts with us. Ahmed Musa is a private legal practitioner. From him, we're taking you to Parliament right now, where the minority is addressing a press conference on that media budget review as presented by the Finance Minister. The former Finance Minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, is addressing that news conference. Let's take you there right now.
Dissociate today's gains from yesterday's effort is both analytically flawed and institutionally damaging. For example, the minister was upbeat about this government achieving accumulated gross international reserves of $11.12 billion, covering 4.8 months of imports as at the end of June 2025, compared to $8.98 billion, covering 4 months of imports as at the end December 2024. And I'm quoting the minister. This is what he said during the presentation of the mid-year budget. But what the minister did not tell the people of Ghana is that the $11.12 billion is not completely a new accumulation. It includes the $8.9 billion inherited from the MPP government. The only new addition was $2.2 billion. But if he's comparing 11.1 billion versus 8.9 billion, it is as if they accumulated $11.1 billion. And we left office with $8.9 billion. But that is not the case. The 11.12 billion includes the 8.9 billion that they are seeking to undermine. Ladies and gentlemen, we may want to ask the minister and the Bank of Ghana what they did with the extra $2.8 billion brought in by Gold Board. Because they said also in the media review that the Gold Board brought in $5 billion. So if you inherited $8.9 billion and the Gold Board brought in $5 billion United States dollars, then the international reserve, the gross international reserve, should not be 11. It should be more than 11. So there's an extra 2.8 billion. The minister was silent on that. We want to know what happened to that. Why is it not part of the reserves, the international gross international reserves of the country? But this is also because we know all along that the Bank of Ghana has been pre-financing the gold purchases by the Gold Board. In any case, we are not sure about the level of scrutiny the Gold Board is subjected to. Whereas the minister stated that in the first half of 2025 alone, gold exports from the small-scale sector stood at 51.5 tons, with an export value of $5 billion. That is first half of the year. President Mahama, on the other hand, said recently, when he launched the Gold Board Task Force, if you recall, that Ghana earned $5 billion from nearly 52 tons. So the minister is talking about 51, the president is talking about 52, up to May, while the minister is talking up to July. So there is apparent contradiction between what the minister has said and what His Excellency the President said. This apparent contradiction between the President and his Finance Minister calls for proper scrutiny of the work of the Gold Board. On the exchange rate situation, the minister indicated that, and we all heard it. He said, "Sidi nu apiki." That's what he said, isn't it? The developments in the foreign exchange market under this administration are deeply troubling. We are witnessing persistent arbitrage between the interbank market and the Forex Bureau, alongside a growing scarcity of foreign exchange. Perhaps the minister should know that, yes, Sidi nu apiki, but Abochi get the dollar, as my brother Honorable Adongo once said. And the arbitrage we are seeing is quite wide. Whilst the minister is talking about interbank rate of 10 cedis to a dollar, the Abochi is selling it at over 13 cedis to a dollar. And on top of that, the banks don't have Forex to give to their clients. We have heard many people complaining about how long it takes, the documents they have to present, to be sent to the Bank of Ghana for clearance before they get Forex from their own accounts, their own Forex accounts. They cannot get transfers that they have to make to people they buy goods from abroad. They are not able to do that. They are incurring losses as a result of that. Ladies and gentlemen, the shortage of dollars in the bank has been so pronounced that importers have gone public to express their frustration about the situation. It is evident that the Bank of Ghana has been intervening significantly in the Forex market through auctions, bilateral sales, and using other tools, despite the Bank of Ghana governor denying such intervention were happening. If you recall, around February, March, the Bank of Ghana governor was boasting that they are not selling dollars. We all heard him say that. It took the IMF to disclose that in the first quarter of 2025, the governor has injected over $1.4 billion into the market. So who is who? Which is which? It appears the governor of the Bank of Ghana has turned himself into a politician, trying to make a political statement when he's supposed to be independent of the finance minister. And this is why the IMF has cautioned the bank about the sustainability of such a policy. As the IMF rightly observed, and I quote, looking ahead, deepening the interbank forex market by reducing Bank of Ghana's footprint and allowing for greater exchange rate flexibility, including through the adoption of a formal internal forex intervention policy framework, should be a priority, unquote. This is the advice the IMF has given to them, to stop the kind of ad hoc interventions that they are doing, which does not give room for flexibility and predictability. We on the minority side are interested in measures that sustainably addresses the forex situation, including
AGH Politics Insider.